Hey guys, welcome to this Sunday evening edition of Topics on My Mind, random topics on my mind. You will see the list of topics below as we keep in the description, but basically these are topics that are just going to come to my mind, and like I said, they will be listed in the description down below. We're only going to probably do about 4 here, so without further ado, let's get this Sunday evening, July 12th edition of Topics on My Mind up and going, shall we? Okay, so the first topic we're going to talk about here, ladies and gentlemen, it's a little political, of course, because we're in election year, but there's a lot going on with elections, political-wise, when it comes to this whole ordeal. Especially the pandemic. You see, there's word going around that the Democratic presidential candidate, Joe Biden, is possibly, this is just a rumor, but it's spreading like wildfire. A slow wildfire that the more it slowly burns, the worse or the greater the chances it could be as a slow burn to become a quick burn and get out of control and probably be in that category of where there's smoke, there's fire, and that's basically what we're looking at here, because the rumor going around is Joe Biden, the Democratic presidential candidate, is on the verge, possibly already is in the first stages, or looks like he has the signs of getting, if not already having, dementia. And the reason people point this out and are talking about this and bringing this up is the fact that sometimes during his speeches he sounds like he's just rambling on what he's saying. It's like he's not able to say words in a coherent way. To some people it doesn't seem like he's making sense. And even if he does make sense and he's trying to, make a certain point, it doesn't seem like he could get to that point the way a Democratic or Republican or presidential candidate is supposed to, especially in an election year. Now, as part of that rumor, basically, word is getting around that the reason we haven't had a proper presidential debate between Biden and Trump is because the people on Biden's side are doing their best to keep him out of that scenario, because pretty much they know, according to rumors, that Trump would basically wipe the floor with Biden on a presidential debating platform, is best I could call it, debating platform. Basically, they just, according to the rumors, again, this is just rumors, but like I said, a lot of people are talking about it, some news outlets and all that are talking about it, that basically they feel that Biden's team is doing what they can to keep him away from doing a presidential debate face to face, even though both men would be 6 feet apart, with the moderator probably wearing a mask in the middle or maybe 6 feet behind them, and crowds of people maybe wearing masks or not. They are doing what they can to keep Biden away from Trump, because, like I said, they know Trump would probably wipe the floor with him, because everything people are saying about Biden and the possibility that he could have dementia or is on the verge of having it or is showing the signs of getting it would basically play in Trump's favor, because Trump would be able to point out the flaws, and everything. The flaws and everything is what I'm trying to say. What Biden's trying to get across, in his speeches, in his debate, or his portion of the debate and stuff like that. So, it's basically like you look at someone like me, or you look at someone like, just Alex, formerly Deluxe Man, or Pat Cornter and Ian on the CU podcast, and you see how we kind of stumble over our words at times when we're doing these live broadcasts, podcasts, whatever you want to call it. It's basically because we're trying to think about what we're going to say next. And when it comes to someone like Joe Biden, who is rumored to possibly have dementia, or at least be on the verge of it, or showing the signs of it, try stumbling over your words naturally, trying to find the right thing to say without a script. Times that by 100, or times that by 20 or 25, and that's basically how some people are looking at Joe Biden right now, who is, like I said, the Democratic presidential candidate. He is basically, he may get a lead here and there, but a lot of people know that just because a Democrat or Republican candidate may get the lead doesn't mean they're going to come out victorious against the current president, who's also trying to regain that seat, try to win another 4 years in the White House. So, again, this is all speculation, this is all rumor that Joe Biden may have, if not be showing the signs of dementia, in which is why, like I said, you have his team basically doing what they can to prevent him from going face to face, if you will, with Trump in a presidential debate, because they know, as I said earlier, Trump would basically wipe the floor with him. He would beat him. He would counter him. He would basically make him look like a fool. And they don't want that. Because if you have Trump in front of a worldwide audience, or a national worldwide audience, make his opposition for presidency of the United States look like a fool, you pretty much kiss every chance you have of winning that campaign goodbye. You kiss it goodbye. Pretty much kiss your chances in all the states you think you have a chance in, goodbye. Kiss them goodbye. And, that's what, obviously, according to the rumors and the speculations being reported all around, that's what Biden's team is trying to prevent from happening. I mean, they're even accusing a family member. I don't know if it's his daughter or his wife. They're even accusing that individual. Like I said, I don't know if it's his daughter or his wife. They're even accusing that individual of pushing Biden into this position, knowing that if he does have dementia, or showing the beginning signs of dementia, that they're basically doing elderly abuse. They are showcasing elderly abuse, when what they should be doing is putting his health first and foremost before any presidential, any presidential campaign or anything. They should be putting him, in a hospital. They should be putting him, at home to rest, get him some medication, do something, because if the rumors are true of any of this, then basically not only is it making Biden look bad, making his campaign team look bad, but it's making his wife or daughter, whoever it is, that's pushing him to do this, it's making them look bad by doing what's known as elderly abuse, because they're not putting his health and well-being first. But again, that's just a rumor. That's just a rumor and speculation that's being reported on by many news and media outlets. And some might say, oh, it's just, Trump's team spreading the rumors. It's the Republicans spreading the rumors. And that might be true, but again, it's all mainly speculation and rumors. We don't know if it's true or not. But the way people are pointing out certain signs of how he's doing speeches and everything, again, where there's smoke, as the old saying goes, where there's smoke, there's fire. And this might be a fire that they're trying to put out as quickly as they can before it gets out of control. So, but anyway, that's just a rumor. If it's true, then, obviously the Democratic Party, Pelosi, the Biden team, his wife, daughter, whoever's also behind it, they are desperate. They are so desperate to get Trump out of office that they are ignoring the health and well-being of the guy that has been nominated to be the Democratic representative, to become president. But again, it's just a rumor and speculation. But like I said, when you see people pointing out certain signs and everything of possible dementia, especially when it comes to the speech and all that, again, the old saying goes, where there's smoke, there's fire. And if there's any real truth to it, obviously the Democratic Party is doing what they can. The Biden party team is doing what they can to basically put that fire out as quickly as possible before it spreads. But that's all I can say for the first topic here on this Topics on My Mind edition. Okay guys, so the second topic I want to talk about has to do with shipping. And I'm not talking mail shipping, UPS shipping, or anything like that. I'm talking fictional shipping. Mostly cartoons and comic books and stuff like that. And basically, you know, why there's a difference when it comes to shipping. Basically, the differences in shipping. You know, why certain people ship, why fans ship, I should say, certain characters, even if those characters have one or two true interactions and that's it. Well, as I've talked about before, I think it's basically because people ship characters, like let's say a character only interacts with another character maybe once. All of a sudden, oh my gosh, they're perfect for each other, let's ship them. It's mainly because they have the similar interests. They might have a similar interest, they might be a similar species, whatever. It's mainly because of that. That's all it is. You know, here's the thing. I've talked about it before, I'll talk about it again. Disney Fanatic ships Applejack and Spike. And mainly it's based off, of course, Spike at Your Service. It's based off the moments throughout the show of Spike and Applejack together, or something like that. So, obviously Disney Fanatic feels that, hey, if the show staff is willing to do these many moments, as well as do this one episode, then why not possibly ship them together? Or why not just put them together? Why not ship them? So, obviously Disney Fanatic's going off that. Because, as well as I think, when you look at Spike, especially in later seasons, like Applejack, he is honest. You know, he has a tendency to make things up, lie sometimes, like she does, which is obviously been seen throughout the series. But it seems that people like Disney Fanatic would look at a pairing like that and say, okay, they're similar in many tones, why not just ship them and be done with it? And, you know, obviously that's why she goes along with it. But then again, you look at other kind of ships as well, like with Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic and Sally. Obviously that's a compatible ship because it's believable. And I know as a fan and supporter of it that is indeed true, because they balance off each other, that bounce off each other in a big way. They both are good foils for one another. But I could see why people wouldn't want to ship them, because they feel, well, wait a minute. Sonic's a free spirit. Sally's a ground leader. She's a princess, you know. Yeah, you know, traditionally hero gets the princess, hero gets the girl. But in this case, it doesn't make sense. And true, it might be based off some of the ways Sally was represented in the Archie comic books of Sonic the Hedgehog. But still, with that said, you know, when you look at Sonic and Sally, they're a very believable ship. Now, of course, people do favor Sonic and Amy, and that's fine. You know, if you feel that Sonic and Amy is more believable, because not only is it a true video game canon, and the fact that they're also hedgehogs, but if you feel they're perfect for each other because they're good foils for each other, they bounce off each other fine, that's good too. You know, and you might say, well, it's because they got good interaction. All the times they interact with each other, it works. Well, the same with Sally. Same with Sally and Bunny. I mean, Sally and Sonic, I should say. And speaking of Bunny, that just slipped my mind. Just because you might have Bunny and Sonic interact with each other or help each other several times in the Sad AM cartoon series, as well as help each other, you know, team up with each other several times in the comic books, just because you have them doing that, it doesn't mean, oh, these guys are perfect for each other, they should be shipped together. That's not true. But if that's your preference, that's your preference. Go ahead, more power to you. Not everybody's going to agree. See, everybody basically has their own preference for who they want to ship. I mean, when it comes to Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, you know, people will ship Dale with the character Foxglove, or Chip with Gadget, or Chip with Tammy, or Dale with Gadget, or, you know, vice versa. And they'll find reasons why. I mean, I've come out and I've said, and I even put this as part of a countdown, I've even said that I ship Dale and Gadget because you can see similarities between the two. You can see a bit of compatibility between the two. So, again, it's all a matter of preference. And there are different reasons why people ship characters. You know, you may not agree with it, but there's reasons. And it's all about preference. That's why fan bases of different franchises, you know, whether it's animated, comics, or both, or even movies, this is why they ship certain characters, even if those characters are not, are not meant truly for each other, except for being best friends. They ship them because they see compatibility. They see the moments that they have with each other, or the many scenes they might share together. That's why they're shipped. Nothing else. No other reason. But, again, it's all a matter of preference. Heck, people sometimes go outside the norm and say, you know what, let's take Elsa and let's take Jack Frost and put them together. And we're talking Jack Frost from Rise of the Guardians and Elsa from Frozen. Why? Because they both have ice powers? They control the winter? Okay, fine. If that's your preference, fine. You would have to really find a way to cross over a DreamWorks character and a Disney character to make that happen. You have to find a unique way to do it, but fine. And that's what fanfiction's all for. Webcomics and fanfiction are for. You can do those kind of crossovers without any, worry or anything like that. But again, when it comes to legitimate animated series, comic books, or movies, people, they have their preference. And again, it's all based on who they feel is more compatible, who works better, how many scenes and stuff they may share together. It's stuff like that. I mean, this is why when you look at Spike and Rarity, even though people may have their difference about it, whether they feel it's right or they don't feel it's right, whether they feel they're compatible or they're not compatible, or this or that, the reason it's a very popular ship is because despite how you might feel, you have to agree that, in a way, it's very, very believable. It is very believable. And you can't deny that. I mean, the connection they have is believable. The friendship, the deep friendship they have is believable. It's all, no matter how you feel about it, it's a very believable ship, just like Sonic and Sally. But again, it's all a matter of preference. When it comes to Spike, like I said, people would rather have him with Applejack. People would rather have him with Ember or Smolder because they're both dragons. Again, it's a matter of preference. And that's that's why shipping is so unique. And that's why shipping is such a controversial at times, if not a fun trope in media to have. Because it's all up to your mind. It's all up to the mind of the fan and how they feel. And that's why it's a very unique and fun, if not controversial trope. Because you could ship, because if you feel certain characters belong to each other, that's more power to you. But, yeah. Shipping is a very unique trope. And that's all I can say about it. Alright, so I'm going to talk a little wrestling here. And everybody has been saying that, wrestling has not been the same since this pandemic started. But that because of this pandemic, wrestling has lost a lot of luster, has lost any reason to be watched, whether it's WWE, AEW, or whoever. And that probably is true. Even though WWE and AEW, as of late, thanks to some reopenings being done in Florida, WWE, they're doing their best to kind of bring in actual fans to mix in with the Performance Center trainees, that being WWE. Same at AEW. They're trying to bring in some actual fans, to mix in with the actual talent as well as some of the backstage personnel. But when it comes to wrestling and true wrestling crowds, I said true wrestling crowds, there's no better example of this truly happening than with New Japan. New Japan had the Dominion 2-night event this past weekend, and yes, it culminated with a big angle, which some may feel is not a good direction, not a good look for NJPW, IWGP. And that is, they have a new double champion, a new IWGP World Heavyweight and Intercontinental Champion in Evil Sonata, or Evil, basically. Evil was known for being part of Los Algodones, I can't pronounce it. I'll just say it by its initials, LIJ. Was known for his association with them, but then all that came to an end on night 1 of Dominion, when he went for like a handshake or a brotherhood sign with Naito, who was the champion, the double champion, and instead of doing like the LIJ, fist bump or something, all of a sudden he did this, and he attacked Naito. And basically that led to him facing Naito because he had won the tournament to get a title shot. That led to him getting his shot the next night and beating Naito for the championship and taking the championship, both of them, to Bullet Club. Yes, Evil joined Bullet Club. We don't know if he's joining them as the new leader or what, but he is the IWGP Intercontinental and World Champion. And as the storyline goes, Bullet Club now has all the power once again. Now, here's the thing. We have Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson showing up in Impact real soon, as well as in New Japan. They're showing back up in New Japan real soon. So I would not be surprised if Evil, in storyline, might hand off the Intercontinental title to Carl Anderson or Luke Gallows. One of them. But with that said, the reason I bring this up is because of both nights, and Alex brought this up in his podcast he did today. They had a crowd, or as he puts it, an actual crowd, fans. The only thing is these fans had to wear masks, and they were restricted from booing or cheering who was in the ring. But they did it anyway. The only thing that might have been a silver lining is the mask was preventing any fluid from getting out. So yeah, New Japan actually had real fans in a real arena attending the event by wearing masks. And I thought about this, and I was watching, I think an old classic AWA clip on YouTube that had the Nasty Boys, because the Nasty Boys, Jerry Sags and Brian Knobbs, were part of AWA at one time. And I looked in the crowd, and this was at, I think this was in San Francisco at the Showboat, or I think it was at I don't know if it was at the Showboat in Las Vegas, or one of the San Francisco venues that they would use. But in the crowd, I noticed two people wearing masks. And it got me thinking. And along with on top of this, what Alex said, and you could see it in the video. If as far as 1986, you had people doing that in the crowds, small crowds and all that, for an AWA event, and then all of a sudden, 34 years later, you have New Japan fans for New Japan doing that, then why can't AEW, why can't AEW and WWE do that? Why can't they go to the Florida government, Orange County officials, or whatever county Jacksonville's in, and say, look, we saw what New Japan did, or go out and explain, maybe show them what New Japan did, and then say, and then probably have them agree, say, okay, fine, you can bring fans in, but they have to wear masks. Why can't they do that? I'll tell you why. Because this is America, right? This is the United States. And everybody, including myself, have the belief that you have free, that this is the land of the free, home of the brave, and this is a place of freedom. You have a freedom of choice. Which is why a lot of people don't like wearing the mask, but they have to. So, this is what I think holding back a lot of sporting events from even having fans. Because if the government was to come out, or the sporting officials, commissioners, whatever, will come out for each league or each sport and say, yeah, we'll let you back in, we'll let crowds back in, but you have to wear a mask. You have to wear the mask. You know, not a lot of people are going to follow protocol. Not a lot of it. Not a lot of them. I mean, you're looking at what's happening at Walt Disney World. Nobody's wearing masks that much, except for certain areas. But getting back on point here, New Japan Pro Wrestling obviously showed the world that yes, this can be accomplished. You can have fans, but your fans have to abide by the rules. They have to say, look, it's only for 2-3 hours. All you have to do is wear the mask, and that's it. And you know what fans could do? You know what fans could do? They could do what people do at their work when they have to wear it. Just pull it down for a second, go like this, go, breathe in a little bit, then pull it back up. That's it. You just have to do that once in a while. I mean, it's not going to hurt you to wear the mask for 20 minutes of a match or 30 minutes for a match, and then after that match is over, pull it down, go, then put it back up. It's not going to hurt. So my question is, if New Japan could do that, if the people in Japan could do that to go back and see New Japan, what's stopping the wrestling fans here? What's stopping WWE, AEW, MLW, Impact from telling the fans, look, we got permission to let you back in, but you got to wear these masks? What's stopping them? Nothing. And there are people wearing masks now in the crowds because it's being mandated. Do you want to have it keep being mandated? Or do you want the governors or even our president to come out and say, look, just wear the mask when you go in public. That's all we ask. You can take it off when you go back out. Is that so hard to ask? I don't think so. But yeah, New Japan obviously is, despite what WWE may say or AEW might say, is the true first world pro wrestling organization to have fans in attendance. And I think that's great. I think that's terrific. Now it's up to WWE and AEW to follow suit and see if maybe they can get the Florida government to allow them to allow actual fans in, but have fans follow that same protocol that we saw in Japan. Because if you have that same protocol followed here, then it'll spread across the United States, and maybe a lot of other sporting events besides wrestling will get the idea of, oh, okay, we get it now. You know, let's do that. Let's go that direction. But yeah, New Japan had a great weekend apparently. Big angle. A lot of people are mixed about it. But one of the things that really, really set a positive note for them in the eyes of not just wrestling fans, but the world in general and the world of sports, is yes, you can have fans in attendance at your arenas, your stadiums, but they gotta follow the protocol and wear the mask. And it's not for a long time. It's only for a certain amount of time, and once that time's over, you can take it off once you leave. But, you know, will the sporting leagues, will WWE, AEW, UFC, will they do it? Let's see. If Japan can be done with New Japan Pro Wrestling, with people in attendance there, obviously it can be done here. But let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Okay guys, our fourth and final topic here is something that I read today that just broke moments ago. And that is, if you are a fan of the Washington Redskins, then as of tomorrow, you might as well be, how do I put this? You might as well be storing, you might as well be buying up a lot of glass cases. You might as well pick out a room in your house that you're not using anymore and use it as a place of memorabilia, because as of tomorrow, according to various outlets, ESPN, CBS Sports, you name it, the Washington Redskins are no more. That's right. They are no more as of tomorrow. I'm not lying about that. Almost 90 years. It would have been 90 years 2 years from now. 90 years. 2022 would have been 90 years of Washington Redskins. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Basically, this would have been the 88th year. That's not going to happen. And last year being the 87th year in existence, pretty much was the last season you're ever going to see the Washington Redskins as the Washington Redskins, because it has been announced that the league and the team has is going to make it official that starting tomorrow, the Redskins name is no more. It is gone. It is, out the window. It is being retired. Now, of course, this is nothing new, because this has been talked about and discussed for years and years, if not for decades. Basically a lot of people feeling that the Redskins name was too racist, too racial to have for a football team or any professional team. So now the Redskins are no more. And from now on, they're going to be known as something else. There's been a lot of names in the past that have been thrown about of what they could be recalled or be renamed. Some probably are thinking they'll be given the same name as one of the other leagues out there, like maybe, because in the past, we had teams that with a similar nickname, we had, or a similar similar team league name in different sports. Like at one time, of course, we had the New York Giants of both baseball and football. At one point, we had the St. Louis Cardinals of both football and baseball. So I would not be surprised if we end up going that route again, and we have not just a Washington Nationals team for baseball, but we have a Washington Nationals team for football. It would make sense if you go one of those directions. However, but whatever name they come up with, I could say this: I don't know how they're going to do it, but they have a short amount of time to come up with a new name and a new logo. Because I guarantee you this year, the Washington team, new name or not, which they probably get, are not going to have any logo just yet. If they have a logo, that's fine. If they just have a big old W, fine. If they just have numbers of the players, that's fine too. But yeah, the Redskins are no more. And it's kind of ironic that this is being announced months, literally just 2 months away from the beginning of the season. And I read what people are saying on Facebook and social media. Not a lot of people are happy about it. They're like, some people are saying it's just a name. It's just a team name. It's just a nickname. Don't get so bent out of shape. And, a lot of people will agree with that. But there are also a lot of people that will agree with it, but will also state on top that, yes, we understand it. Yes, we see where you're coming from. But you have to understand, with everything going on over the past few months lately, with all these protests and lootings and, Black Lives Matter and stuff like that, you don't want to take a chance. You don't want to take a chance of offending anybody else. So, if they have to do this, they have to do it. But now it makes you wonder what other teams could be, in that direction, could end up being put, in that same category. I mean, people have talked about changing the name of the Cleveland Indians at times. Some have said the same thing about the Atlanta Braves. Some have even said things about the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs and the Chicago Blackhawks of the NHL. You have to wonder if any one of those teams could be next. What about the Florida State Seminoles? I'm just saying, with everything going on right now, could the Redskins changing their name, retiring the Redskins name after almost 90 years in existence, could that lead, or could that be the foundation, could that be the domino effect that causes any other teams in any other sports leagues that have a similar name to change theirs as well? It makes you wonder. It makes you wonder. I mean, again, I get what people are saying. It's just a nickname, right? But here's the thing. It's not just a nickname to a lot of people. It's something that for decades people have found offensive. Even Native Americans have found offensive. And even those that are not Native American but believe that these kind of words, these kind of terms are offensive. I could see where they're coming from. And like I said, I could see why this is happening. You got all this stuff going on. You don't want to cause any further conflict, especially when the NFL could be the one bright light in this whole pandemic situation that will shine down and give us a little bit of normalcy. So the question is, after they retire the name, what's the new name going to be? Right now, they're not sure. Again, they could decide to just name them the Nationals and have a Washington Nationals team, in Washington, D.C., in Landover, on both sides of the spectrum. That's it. You can call them the Washington Presidents, for all I care. Or the Washington Eagles. Oh, the Eagles' name was already taken. I don't know. Are you going to call them the Washington Monarchs? I don't think so. Were you going to call them the Washington Fighters? Washington Blue Angels? The Washington Americans? Who knows? It's up in the air. Are you going to call them the Washington Bulls? That might be the best solution. The Washington Stampede? Heck, are you going to take a name from the XFL and say, well, they had the New York Gladiators, we'll call ourselves the Washington Gladiators? Or are you going to take was there a Washington team in the XFL? If there was, are you going to take that name and apply it to the Redskins? Or apply it to, make it the replacement for the Redskins name is what I'm saying? Are you going to call them the Washington Limitless? I mean, the possibilities are endless of what the new name could be. Are you going to call them the Washington Tigers? You're going to call them the Washington Penguins? You're going to call them the Washington All-Americans? What are you going to call them? Again, are you going to go and call them the Washington Wizards? That way you have a Wizards team in the NBA and a Wizards team in the NFL? Are you going to call them the Washington Capitals? So that way you have a Capitals team in the NHL and a Capitals team in the NFL? I mean, I wouldn't put it past them to do it. Whatever the new name's going to be, I guarantee you this. Fans are not going to be happy. There are going to be fans that are going to be understanding as to why it's happening, but there are going to be a lot of long-time fans that are like, this ain't right. But there's nothing you can really do. Right now, we are going through a situation to where you don't want to take chances on a racial boundary. And if taking a name like the Redskins and retiring it and giving it something else, and giving them something else as a new name, then so be it. Could they call them the Red Hawks? Who knows? Whatever they're going to call them, it's going to be interesting. Again, I think I think Washington had a team in the XFL this year. If they did, they'll probably use that name. If not, they'll probably take the Gladiators name from New York and go with that. Who knows? Again, it's just intriguing. It's just an interesting time we're in right now. But you know what? We shouldn't be, like I said, we shouldn't really be surprised, because this is something that's been going on and discussed for years, if not decades. I mean, they tried to appeal to them. They tried to say, look, we'll go 50-50 with you. You know, they tried to appeal to everybody who was sensitive to this, who didn't like the Redskins name. They tried to appeal to them by saying, look, we'll take the Redskins logo off and we'll use a helmet that's similar to the Florida State Seminoles. And that still didn't work. People didn't like the fact that they were basically copying the Seminoles just to try to get by just to get by them, so they could still call themselves the Redskins. I don't know what's going to be. I don't know what it's going to be. For all we know, they can call them the freaking Washington Republics, or the Washington Politicians. For all we know. But whatever it's going to be, I guarantee you this: nobody is going to be. It's going to take a long time for fans to forgive Roger Goodell and the NFL for doing this. It's going to take a long time for fans to forgive the Washington offices, in charge of the football team. It's going to take them a long time it's going to take fans a long time to forgive them as well. It's going to take a long time to heal from it. It's going to be the same way that even to this day, fans are still trying to forgive and heal over the fact that the Colts, in the dead of night, moved from Baltimore to Indianapolis. It's going to take time. It's going to take time of healing for, it's going to take probably the same amount of time for fans of the Houston Oilers to get over the fact that their team went to Tennessee and became the Tennessee Oilers, then the Tennessee Titans. It's going to take time for healing for them. It took time to heal for them until they got a team. The point is, it's going to take a long time to heal from this. It's going to take a long time for people to forgive, like I said, Roger Goodell and the NFL, the Washington NFL, the team offices of the Washington team, of the Washington team. It's going to take a long time. So whatever name they come up with, it better be a good one, to where if they want fans to still stand by their side and not boo that team when they come out of that tunnel on the home opener, it better be a good one. Because if you want that forgiveness and that healing to go by like that, you better come up with a good name. But yeah, if you're a fan of the Washington Redskins, no matter if you live in Landover or all over the country, whatever Redskins memorabilia you have, you better pack it away, you better store it, you better buy glass cases, lock up those glass cases, because guess what? That stuff's going to become collectors in the long term. They're going to become collected items more than you ever can imagine. And like I said, if you have an extra room you're not using, make that your memorabilia room. Because again, your Washington Redskins memorabilia, collector stuff, yeah, it's going to be worth a lot of money now. Because as of tomorrow, the Redskins own no more. Okay, so that will do it for this special Sunday evening edition of Topics on My Mind for today, July 12th, 2020. Thank you all for watching. Let me know what you all think about what I had to say down below in the comment section. Hope to hear what your thoughts are on the whole situation on some of these topics. And that's about it, guys. So until next time, I will talk to you all later. God bless. Take care.